Hello everyone, it is your boy Winster and I am back at it again with another video. Today we're going to be having a little bit of a discussion video. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell. That way you guys could stay up to date with all the content that does drop on this channel. Be sure to do you guys yourselves a solid. Check the description box. I have a very active Discord, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me on all those platforms. I would really appreciate it. But let's jump right into today's discussion. It's a very interesting one. Today's topic came to me a while ago. I remember I was researching, watching videos on YouTube, and I was trying to figure out how to play Fire King Snake Eye, and I was putting it together. And I remember a lot of the rhetoric and the comments and the thumbnails and the YouTube video title names. They were all Tier 0, the best deck in the format, must learn how to play. You got to know how to play this deck because this is the best deck in this up-and-coming format. Fast forward a couple months till today. A recording of this video is April 10th, and it is hands down the best deck in the format. And that same type of rhetoric is still running around. It's changed a little bit because people have been playing against Snake Eye, and the rhetoric is changing to, oh my god, I really don't like this format. I really hate playing against Fire King. I go to local, I play against 10 Snake Eye Fire King. I go to my regional, and there's nothing but Fire King. Fire King being super consistent and just dominating like everyone anticipated it to. And recently, I had a friend of mine just talking about, man, I'm really tired of this format. And then thus the idea reappeared back in my mind. I wanted to talk about format fatigue and what exactly that really means to me. So one of the first things I wanted to touch base on, what exactly is Tier 0 for those people who just don't know. At least in my opinion, Tier 0 formats are when a deck or a strategy, a good example, Snake Eye, a good example is Tier Limits back in their prime, when that deck had a certain amount of percentage at events and they were consistently placing, consistently topping. The other decks that you would play against just couldn't keep up, and the other decks that you did play against were far in between because that specific strategy, that specific deck was just too strong not to play. And if you weren't playing it, you're already losing. So the next topic I wanted to talk about is how does the community feel as a whole when it comes to Tier 0 formats? I think the general feeling towards them is that they're bad for the game. The reason being is because they could turn off newer players from playing. It could be really repetitive. You're just playing against the same deck every single round. The variety in deck is just so far in between that what's even the point of playing anything else, because those other decks, like I said earlier, just can't keep up with the best deck in the format. As a whole community, the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I think has come together that the general feeling towards Tier 0 is that they're bad for the game. One being, it could be really repetitive. Imagine going to a local and all you play against is the best deck, and the variety just isn't there. The same thing could be said about regionals or YCSs. All you play against is that deck. And that could turn some players off, right? The newer players just don't understand how things work and just, oh, well, this is so overwhelming, I don't want to play it. Or on the contrary, they'll be part of the quote-unquote problem because now, well, if you can't beat them, I'm going to join them and then I'm just going to play the best deck. Why set myself back if the deck that I want to play just can't keep up with the deck that should be played in the format? Now, looking at a format from that point of view, I don't think it's the correct way to look at it. Looking at it from a point of, it's repetitive. The decks that I want to have fun and play just can't keep up with the deck that should be played in the format is the incorrect way to do it. I think a lot of good could come out of a Tier 0 format. And now hear me out. I think this is where the Yu-Gi-Oh community really shines, from my point of view at least. I think it shows a lot of creativeness. A good example, back when Tier was the best deck in the format, a lot of players were playing Bystials, which were really throwaways when the set Darkwing Blast first arrived and introduced them. Now they saw the power of Tier Limits and noticed, whoa, these cards have to remain in the graveyard in order to resolve, to shuffle them back into the deck. Bystials come in and are able to remove those targets before they resolve a fusion summon, given there was other issues to the deck like the Ishizu cards. But that was definitely a creative note that the Yu-Gi-Oh community really came together and saw that, hey, this throwaway archetype that we thought was useless is actually really good against this best deck in the format. Fast forward till now, I don't think there's been another Tier 0 deck, but fast forward till now, and another great card, another tech option that popped up was Soul Release. Soul Release hasn't been used since the anime. I don't think anyone has ever really used that card. But that card is phenomenal against the Fire King Snake Eye, or just Snake Eye in general, because you remove all the targets that you need for the graveyard, and then they won't be able to trigger anything, which is absolutely insane. I remember when I was first reading out, like, that's such a creative thing. Also, on top of that, some good that come out of it, since you're expecting the best deck in this current format by far, you could have really easy side options, right? There's not a lot of critical thinking, or, okay, you know what? I know how to beat the problem. I'm going to run into the problem. I'm going to address the problem with these tools. And again, the Yu-Gi-Oh community just always come together, find new ways, innovative ways to deal with the best decks in the format. And that's definitely another outlook. So I wanted to talk about how I personally deal with Tier 0 formats, or how I personally view them. Now, there's only been 2 formats where I partaked in, being Tier Shizu format at full power, and the current one that we're in, Snake Eyes being the best deck. I remember when I first started playing against Tier Shizu, it just felt unwinnable. It felt uphill every single time. At this point in time, I was playing Branded Despia, and I was able to play the Bystials. But at that point in time, Magnum was like a $20 card. Everyone was playing Bystials because, again, they help you deal with the issues, being the Tier Shizu cards, which were insanely strong cards. So I remember I just felt like, man, I do not want to play it. I do not want to play against it. I feel like I have a bad matchup, even though I had the capability of playing Bystials. Not that they didn't, but Branded and Red not being able to resolve ever because of the shufflers, or them themselves playing Bystials, getting rid of my targets. It just felt so bad. And I would say that I was very close to quitting the game at that point in time. But I stopped and I thought to myself, this is great practice, even though I've only ever been to like one real regional, or at least played in one real regional. I looked at it and like, well, this is great practice, right? I had a friend who was a big Tier Shizu player, and that was phenomenal practice as well. So it gave me that knowledge that I needed if I did plan to go to a big event. I know how to play against it. I play against it all the time. That's how I personally look at it. Now, another way to look at it is that nothing in Yu-Gi-Oh is permanent. If something becomes too strong, Konami is forced to actually address it. A good example is, look at Tier Shizu. That deck was by far the best deck in the format. And as time progressed, ban lists came out, hit the tier cards, they hit the millers, they banned the millers, they hit the shufflers. It's just absolutely insane. That deck got just demolished over time. Obviously, the tier players obviously found new innovative ways to still mill their cards, but it's just the fact of how much they butchered that deck. And rest in peace, all the tier players. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys shouldn't have been hit as hard. But also, a good example is, look at Mystic Mind. I think that card single-handedly was just an outcry from the community. Hey, Konami, you guys need to ban this card. Problematic, very toxic for the game as a whole, because it's just a stall card. And Konami addressed the matter and banned the card, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. I think those are also good examples of the community just coming together and needing this. Now, my point is that Fire King Snake Eye, it's gonna get hit at some point in time. And that's something that helps me keep the motivation to continue to play. It's gonna be gone at some point in time. And maybe it's easier for me to say because I currently play the deck. I definitely think that that helps me stay focused. I'm like, man, what do I get to learn with that this Snake Eyes player is doing and what I'm not doing? Oh, well, this is really annoying because all I play is Snake Eye, it's gonna get hit at some point in time. Those are just some aspects or some ways that I look at the game that could help me keep that motivation, that could help me keep playing and push through even the more troublesome of formats. Now we get to the last segment of this video. I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys deal or look at Tier 0 formats? Are you guys, you know what, I'm gonna fight fire with fire, I'm gonna play the best deck and just learn as much as I can and get ready for these bigger events? Or are you on the opposite end of things? I do not want to fight fire with fire, ironically. That was not even a pun intended. But I want to play something else, and I want to be able to destroy that deck. Or are you on the other side? You know what? I'm going to wait until a ban list drops, and I'm not going to play the game until it's out. I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions. I want to start a discussion. Leave everything in the comment section, guys. I try to read every single comment. It's hard, but please let me know how you guys feel. Let's talk about it. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. I do appreciate all you guys' support. I really wanted to bring this discussion video out because I saw a lot of people talk about it, and I think it's a good, healthy way to discuss things without having a negative connotation behind it. I will check you guys on the next video. Appreciate your support. My name is Winster. Have a good day. Peace out.